Hello guys, welcome to another fight prediction. This time the card is UFC 220, Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou. And without further ado, let's get to the fight predictions. In our first fight of the main card, we have Thomas Almeida facing Rob Font in the bantamweight division. This is an interesting style matchup. I think this fight will play out as more of a striking battle, as neither fighter likes to take the fight to the ground very often. Thomas Almeida employs more of a Muay Thai style of striking, and Rob Font's style of striking is more of a traditional boxing style of striking. I think this fight will come down to who can best take advantage of the other fighter's weaknesses. Thomas Almeida moves on a straight line, forward and back, doesn't have very good defense, and his head movement is almost non-existent. Rob Font tends to go back to his back foot and allow more aggressive fighters to pressure and power strikes on him. Thomas Almeida being an aggressive fighter who uses offense as defense, I think he will be able to pressure Rob Font, cause him to go to his back foot often, which will lead Almeida to pile up strikes on Font till eventually he gets a TKO stoppage in the second round. In the second fight of the main card, we have Gian Villante facing Francis Barbosa in the light heavyweight division. We have Villante, who, while he was never highly touted as far as his UFC career goes, he has always had a good team behind him in Sarah Longo. They have champions like Chris Weidman and several other good talents. And he has always had good attributes. Gian Villante is on the larger side for the division. He's one of the physically stronger fighters in the division. He has good power in his punches. He has decent wrestling, but his fight IQ is poor, and he doesn't have the best gas tank. Barbosa, on the other hand, is just decently well-rounded, but not spectacular by any means, and has been in the division for many years, basically in the same spot, never moving up, never moving down, just filling out the roster spot. Barbosa employs more of a wet blanket style of fighting. He likes to either clinch up with you against the cage or lay and pray. I think in this fight, Gian Villante will be the stronger man, and he'll be able to deny a lot of the grappling attempts of Barbosa, especially early on in the fight. I see Gian Villante being able to do well on the feet and eventually being able to land power shots on Barbosa early, and I see this fight going for Villante via first round knockout. In our third fight of the main card, we have Calvin Kattar facing Shane Burgos in the featherweight division. I see the matchup playing out in an all-out war for who can better impose their will and control the center of the octagon. They both are big for the weight class, both roughly the same size, I think. Kattar is a bit more filled out than Burgos. Shane Burgos likes to be the aggressor, and he likes to stalk his opponents down, slow and measured, and wear them down with a mixture of body and head shots. Calvin Kattar likes to come in and out of range with 1-2s or lunging strikes till he finds openings to follow up either with 1s and 2s or lunging strikes. Kattar pushes a higher pace, whereas Burgos approaches more measured. I see this fight going to a decision, and I think Burgos will come out the victor due to his forward moving style along with his accuracy, causing him to land the more significant strikes and have more octagon control time. My prediction for this fight is Shane Burgos via decision. In our co-main event, we have Daniel Cormier defending his light heavyweight title against Volkan Oezdemir. If this fight was a year ago, this would be an easy pick for Daniel Cormier to win via whatever fashion he wants to win by. But due to Daniel Cormier being knocked out by John Jones in his last fight, along with Oezdemir's rapid rise up the division, this fight has turned into a pick'em fight. I think Daniel Cormier is still the better fighter by far. I think he's the more credentialed fighter by far, but Oezdemir has the momentum and the confidence, and we don't know quite where Daniel Cormier is at or how he will come back after suffering his first knockout loss. The fight not going off momentum will come down to whether Daniel Cormier can do what he normally does and how much of a factor will Oezdemir's trademark short punches, which got him to the title, be. Cormier likes to clinch often, and that's where Oezdemir's short punches seem to be most effective, and also will Daniel Cormier be able to take damage like he used to be able to. I think in this matchup, Cormier will be able to utilize his wrestling and go for more singles and double legs than sweeps and wear on Oezdemir. And by going for double legs and single legs, he won't really be in that upper Greco-Roman style clinch, and he'll be more out of the range of that punch. And I think he'll be able to take him down and wear him out with by landing strikes from the top position. And eventually, it will cause Oezdemir to wear down, and strikes will be less effective. And then I think Daniel Cormier will be able to take him into the late rounds and drown him. And I see Daniel Cormier winning this fight via third round submission. In our main event, we have Stipe Miocic defending his heavyweight title against Francis Ngannou. This is a matchup of hype versus proven. Francis Ngannou has won some fights in spectacular fashion, but he hasn't truly been tested or in deep waters against a high-level fighter, let alone the champ. Stipe Miocic, on the other hand, was at one point never expected to be champ, but he overcame losses and setbacks to rise to the top, and then he is now on one win away from setting the record for most consecutive UFC heavyweight title defenses. We have seen Stipe in wars, and we have seen Stipe have to grind out victories. We have seen most of Stipe's game, but we haven't seen too much from Ngannou. We know Ngannou has devastating power, but at heavyweight, everyone has knockout power. In Ngannou's earlier fights in the UFC, we saw his lack of wrestling defense. He was slow to get up from takedowns, and his grappling was poor. We haven't seen him put in that position since, as he's been getting first round stoppages ever since, and we have never seen him outstruck on the feet or hit with clean punches. I see the X factor in this fight being how Stipe's wrestling will come into play. If he chooses to use it or not, and if he uses it, how will he use it? I think Ngannou has looked worse in the UFC off his back. If Miocic can impose his wrestling, he can do some serious damage there and set up strikes on the feet. Their striking skills are relatively even, but I think Ngannou has the better reflexes and power, where Stipe is the more seasoned fighter. I want to go with the height, but based off what I have to analyze, I'm going with the proven fighter. I predict Stipe to win via third round TKO after an action-packed fight. And that completes my fight predictions and fight analysis. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.